Join us for a ride through the valleys of southern Utah. Starting in Hatch, going to Butch Cassidy's childhood home, and ending today at Otter Creek Reservoir. Riding north on US Highway 89. We have gone east-west through this area, going from Zion to Bryce National Parks. I will put links to those videos in the description. As usual for our travels, we are avoiding the freeway and going in the most picturesque route we can find. This takes us on a bit of a zigzag, but well worth the extra time traveling. We are following the Sevier River. It goes from Hatch until we turn off on Highway 62. To our right, behind the mountains, is Bryce Canyon National Park. The town of Panguitch. Panguitch has an ice fishing derby, quilt walk festival, hot air balloon rally, chicken light and chrome truck show, and a rodeo. There is a historic walking tour as well as a red brick home tour. Both of these are self-guided. Panguitch was settled by Mormon pioneers who made their own red bricks to build their homes. Sheriff Pace lived in one of the red brick homes on the main street. Stories say federal agents came into town at night to find polygamists. When this happened, the sheriff's wife would light a lamp in the window to let all the men know, and they would go into hiding. Another local legend is a story of the quilt walk. With deep snow and a shortage of food, the community sent some men west about 45 miles to the community of Parowan. The snow was too deep for a wagon or to walk easily. The men knelt on a quilt on the snow and prayed, asking what to do. Realizing the quilt they were kneeling on was supporting their weight, they laid the quilts on the snow, one in front of the other, and walked on the quilts back to town. Panguitch is surrounded by national parks and national forests, making this a popular place for fishermen and off-road vehicles. To the west and to our left here is Dixie National Forest. There are many forest roads to explore in Dixie National Forest. However, some of them are closed in the winters. To the southeast is a scenic Byway 12, heading towards Bryce Canyon. Highway 12 through the mountains is the route we took on our Bryce Canyon video. On our right, for our entire ride today, is National Forest. On our left is Butch Cassidy's childhood home. When he lived here, there were more trees surrounding the house. There is no fee to see the home and the property, and there is no one here, so it's a self-guided tour. There were a few signs with information, and on those signs were comments that they are going to add more signs. They did have some newspaper articles saying how Butch Cassidy was a wanted man. Butch Cassidy was born in 1866 in Beaver, Utah. He was the oldest of 13 children. His parents came to Utah with their families as Mormon pioneers. continuing north on Highway 89. The town of Circleville. Circleville is named after and is in Circle Valley. Except for where the Sevier River goes through, Circle Valley is completely circled by mountains. Circleville was originally settled in 1864. 2 years later, after the Circleville massacre, the town was abandoned. Settlers started returning in 1873, and the town was re-established in 1874. In the 2012 census, there were 538 people. We are now going east on Highway 62. The town of Kingston. Kingston is 5.3 square miles according to the U.S. Census Bureau. It is named for the King family who moved there to make their own United Order communal living community. The King family lived as United Order from 1876 to 1883. In 1935, Kingston became an incorporated town. Highway 62 is only a few minutes longer than if we would have continued going north on Highway 89. This route goes through the valleys and the mountains more, making those few minutes well worth it. There is open grazing along many of the highways. We do come across cattle on the road. On our previous trip on Highway 12, we did split a herd of cattle at night. Not a safe feeling being on a motorcycle and with the cattle black being very hard to see. We are following the east fork of the Sevier River. This goes from Kingston to Otter Creek Reservoir. On our right is a cow walking out to the road. With the driveway, it looks like a normal place for them to cross. There were also several cow patties on the road in this area. One of the many reasons we don't like to ride our bikes at night in the country. Staying on Highway 62, we're riding north. To our right is Otter Creek Reservoir. At the south end of the reservoir, there is Otter Creek State Park. This has a campground, and it was one of our options for tonight. We are going to ride along Old Highway 62, which runs parallel to the Otter Creek Reservoir. We weren't sure how sandy or motorcycle friendly the roads were as we got closer to the lake. We stayed on the old highway and found a spot to pull over to change the GoPro battery and get a pretty view of the reservoir as we did it. Thanks for joining us on a ride through the valleys of southern Utah. Please hit like and subscribe and you'll be notified for our next video. You can find me on YouTube and Facebook at Biking with Butterfly and Instagram at BikingWB.